I love it.
Park RPG.
Name that dinosaur Russell. That's a great dinosaur name.
All right, so if y'all go to the first tab, you'll have several pictures on basically what the area looks like. Several examples. Picture a Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit type area with the Fangwood Forest where the elves and the hobbits came through, where it's very, very dense woods. There's a reason why they call it Fangwood. You can imagine whenever Gandalf goes to that castle, just the reaching woods where you can literally be 100 yards away from somebody and not see them for like months. That's how dense and thick the woods are. The people of Fandor make a living in these woods, so they hunt and they trap, but most of them stay on the periphery because it's a very, very dangerous woods. It's full of monsters and full of fae and full of just very dangerous things. So anyone who's a hunter, they deal with death every single day in the area. That's why some hunters stay more towards the plains and stuff. So if you go to the map, that first map on the first tab, Fandor is right here. Fandor. It's right here next to the Mardiff River.
I think you're on the DM layer because I can't see your ping.
Oh, good call. Right there.
Cool.
Which I'll show y'all another map shortly. But I'm just
and why don't we
stay in this tab
decide now how you're going to pronounce this freaking city?
Fiander.
So we can.
It's
Fanador.
like Fae. It's like Fae.
Fandor?
Fiander.
Fanador. Or Fandor?
Fiander.
Fandar's so easy. That's what it looks like too.
All
So
right,
like
Fiander.
like faint. Like when you faint somebody in Pathfinder.
But it's AE.
Fandor. Yeah.
It's
Is
not
it?
EA. It's AE.
So what would that be?
Fandar, not Fiander.
Fiander.
Nobody said Fiander.
Fiander.
That's what Jason
It's
said.
Fae. Fiander.
You just said
So
it's A and then said Fee right afterwards.
Let's say Fae. Fane.
Fiander.
Fandar.
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 Yeah.
Alright, fine.
Like Fang.
I'm okay with
F-A-N-G.
Fandar. Thank you for just... And Nermathus? Is that good? with everyone?
Nirmathos. It's Nirmathos.
I thought it was Nermathus too. I'm on Jason's side on this one.
Nermathus is where I'm at.
Well, dude, every show I listen to with the creators of Pathfinder on it and shit says Nirmathos.
You say Nirmathos?
Yes,
Nah, I'm
Nirmathos.
sticking with
They're wrong
Nirmathus.
for sure.
I'm sticking with Nirmathus.
Jason Bowman is wrong?
Yeah, he's wrong.
Jason Bowman, the guy who made this whole world, is wrong. Okay, sure.
He's-
All right,
yeah,
cool.
I mean,
he is.
y'all get Fandor. Fandar.
He was wrong with that one.
Y'all get Fandar. I get
Nirmathus?
Nirmathus. Okay?
Okay, I'm going to call it Judge Mathis. All right. So we're going to go to Judge Mathis.
I mean, if he called the lake Lake Incorthon or something, we'd say it was wrong too.
Alright, so... We are talking about
This is bad name.
Nirmathus. And I want y'all to imagine a battlefield towards the south. Two massive armies are just going at each other.
Like down here.
Yes, if you want me to ping it.
On the border.
Over there, like near the Deadeye's haunt.
Okay.
Two armies are going at each other. The sounds of volleys going up. Sounds are echoing in the valley. There's forces of Malthun and Nirmathus are together and just cutting each other down. On opposite sides of the field, on one side you can see several groups of people trying to gather their forces to lead against the charge. And that's on the Nirmathus side. On the other side, Malthun, just these monstrous army led by hobgoblins, and they just do charge after charge towards the defenders. You see this wizard and his apprentice And this older wizard's like, "Now, Telgin, please watch again, son. You will need to get this before unleashing another fireball amongst the hobgoblins and monstrous forces." And then you kind of zoom around to another group of people, and you see a older man looking, Dr. Graham Thamwell, next to a younger soldier named Bilkin. And they're fighting against hobgoblins, and their swords are clashing. Dr. Graham is in plate mail, breastplate, wielding a mace and a shield, and with charisma just emblazoned on it. And Bilkin, he has just the Narmathus symbol of a tree with a sword going through it on a green field. And before one of the cuts gets to Graham, Bilkin blocks it and says, You got to get better than that, old man." The younger barks at his friend.
You know what they say. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I'll ever be.
And Bilkin says, look over there. And he points towards a upraised, and he's like, "By all the gods, is that him?" And Graham looks as hard as he can, but he only makes out a figure with a bow in his hand, kind of on an upraised thing. And he goes, Is that Ingrid?" And another soldier goes, "Bah!" after stabbing down another goblin. "Bilkin, you're crazy. Ingrid died 50 years ago. Why would he be here now, lad?" Bilkin's like, "Yeah, you're right. But could be that damn elf blood," as he slices down another goblin. And then it kind of zooms away, and you see another charge happening, and Bilkin's like, "Graham, on your left!" And he takes an arrow to the knee. And with a shout, Graham goes to the ground, and Bilkin says, "No, you will not have us!" And he charges forward to attack a group of hobgoblins, and before Graham's eyes, he sees Bilkin just being chopped down amongst the hobgoblin horde. Graham gets up and starts moving away towards a bridge where some of the others are retreating, limping along the way. There's cries going out, and Graham tries to heal himself, only to see his spell fade away due to fatigue, and for the first time in his life, he feels alone, because Pharasma has granted him these spells that he just ran out. The day has just lasted so long, and he gets to the bridge and he tries to cross it, as he sees some of the remainders just being cut down, and one of the young guards runs up to Graham and goes, We need to get out of here. I've already heard some of the wizards on the other side are already down. Graham, come on!" And he kind of lifts him up and tries to move him. And at that point, you see like a group of hobgoblins charging towards their position. And he's like, "Come on, Graham, come on!" And trying to rush him across the bridge. And before he sees it, he sees an arrow flying towards the bridge. And it hits the bridge. And Graham can see that the arrow is unlike any he's ever seen before, green with gold fletching, when suddenly the arrow explodes with a gigantic boom, knocking Graham off of his feet. He looks, and the bridge has fallen down and just stopped at where he's at. The young soldier that was helping Graham, he reaches over and says, "Come on, let's go." And he looks over to the side, and he sees the young soldier. Some shrapnel has hit his head, and he's just sitting there with eyes glazed over, dead. Graham grabs the rest of his senses and just tries to get away off the battlefield that is just lost to sounds of horn and shouts and screams. Now we go to present time. Fandar. It might take me a little bit of time, guys. In Feindar, there's a festival going on, and several of our players are in this festival. Feindar has a green in the center of town. The town at max has 400 people, but during the festivals it swells to a whopping 600 to 800. Most people stay with others during this time of the festival, which happens every 3 to 4 months. And there's just people laughing and talking. Ale runs freely. People with sticks of meat just to kind of bite down, and we'll go to one of the PCs, a human who's trying to sell furs in the group. Russell, go ahead and introduce your character and give us a short description of him.
Mordo stands at his small stall next to his wife. His face is deformed at best, features all out of whack, and mouth-shapen. He tried to cover it with his thick red hair and a red beard, but the deep-set eyes and mismatched cheekbones give away a almost frightful demeanor. But there's nothing cruel about his look, as he attempts to meekly and calmly sell his wares. He looks over to his wife, attempting to sell her stitchery and woolen goods that she tailors.
What's your wife's name, Russell? What did you decide?
I did not decide yet.
Olga.
Olga is perfect.
And then what was your son's name?
My son's name?
Ulmir.
Bran.
Bran?
Yep, Bran.
Alright, well, Mordos tries his best to sell his wares during this time because it brings in a lot of money towards his simple lifestyle. Around his stall, you see many dogs and even an unusual creature, an ankylosaurus. You can hear Olga.
You also see a small monkey jump up onto my shoulder. I feed him a little bit of animal feed from my pocket. After I do, I tap him on the shoulder and pull out some wildflowers from a bandolier pocket and hand them over to him. As I do, I chirp twice with my lips and say Olga. And as I do, he grabs the flowers and runs toward my wife to climb up on her shoulder.
The monkey gives Olga a wildflower, and then after a few moments hops off and runs and scampers across the green to hop up on a horse with a half-orc riding on it, coming up to your stall.
I smile as I see the rider.
All right, Chris, you want to go ahead and intro your character?
Yeah. Any man riding this horse would look big, but Jex looks enormous as he trots in on a speckled black stallion. He's got hides that are thrown over the back of the saddle and a bag tied at his waist, and he rides into town searching for Dr. Graham Thamwell. Dex is, to describe him a little bit more, he's 6'9", half orc. He tries to adopt somewhat human fashion, but he's made everything out of things he can find in the Fangwood. And people who live in town might have seen him here and there, riding in out of the woods to do fair trade and trade for things like salt and other things that help you survive alone in the woods.
All right, does he say anything to his friend? Is there any RP at this time?
Yeah, he rides by and says, Yeah, I mean,
A man, a few words.
I don't know how well we didn't work out enough about their backstory. So I don't really know how well they know each other. But no, I think he just rides by. He is a man of few words.
Does he give a nod, I guess? Just a
Sure. Yeah, he
sup
just
from
gives a
high
kind of
school?
solemn nod.
All right, with a head
Onto
tilt,
that monkey.
Jax continues on his way.
Sorry,
then
I
we
just
go-
didn't. I didn't think that was gonna be how the intro went.
That's all right. And then we'll go around to the festival to a young woman dancing with a middle-aged man out in the green where several couples are dancing. The woman has long blonde hair and just an ageless kind of look. But every once in a while her partner stumbles as if from an old wound. You want to go ahead and she laughs and says, this reminds me of the good old days, hey Graham?
And you see with like a hollow sort of smile and a chuckle, he's like, "Oh yes, back when we were young, and things had so much hope." And then kind of like stumbles again, and he goes, I think I may need to step away.
And she
Kind of takes his cane and kind of walks away
she
to the
lets you
side of
with a wondrous look in her eyes. That just speaks of just troubled thoughts, like there's something unsaid when you leave. But before you know it, a young girl hops up and says, Mama! And a young girl just goes and starts dancing with her, and they continue on their dance as Graham kind of goes away. And the young boy goes, "Da! You no longer want to dance with Mom? I mean, you've been gone for a long time."
He goes, it's not that, son. I'm just tired. This injury, it's slowed me down quite a bit. I just need a quick rest. I'm not going anywhere, I promise."
Okay.
And he's just kind of standing watching his wife and daughter dance. It's been a long time since he's been home, and his reception was much more well received than he was planning, I guess, because it's been all bad news for a while now. So this kind of worked out.
And then we go around to, I guess, Ryan, give me a description of your character. I guess you just have a drink in your hand, or what do you think you'd be doing during the festival?
Peglin is a human man of, I mean, he still looks somewhat young, probably in his, I will change that, in his early 20s. He kind of has a bit of a wild appearance, kind of unkempt. Has kind of a travel pack sitting down next to him, and he probably is just kind of quietly watching everybody in their festivities and kind of nursing probably just one drink as he just kind of looks around and people watches pretty much. He kind of has in his eyes as he's looking, he kind of has like a look like he's half present. He's kind of paying attention to people, but also seems to be distracted as well.
Well, after a few moments' time, you see a fairly large woman, black skin, walk towards you. You see that this woman is in leather armor and she has a long cloak and a bow around her shoulders and a long sword on her back with a throwing axe on her hip. She walks towards you, and it's cast by from the Walking Dead, the Michonne actress.
Right on.
She does everyone know who that is before I go any further?
I don't, but I'll look it up.
Damn it. Okay. Well, she has short dreads, and she walks up towards Ryan's character and goes, "Hey, what's your name? You look to be a little from the Outlands." And you see that she has a flask in her hand and says, "Bye, Kaladin. I do not know you." And you can see that she has obviously had quite a bit to drink.
Teglin smiles politely and kind of nods his head and says, "Miss, I've been traveling around these parts. Not really sure where my home is anymore. Just wandering."
She says, Befendar is a great town. If you choose to live here, I'm sure that some proper places can be accustomed to. You come at a fine time during the celebration. And I'm pretty sure it marks a time period if my mind works properly. It is kind of fuzzy right now. It's late in the day, you know?
That beverage you got there is that'll do it.
And with that, she kind of nods and says, there's more festivity. And then she goes, "Sorry about that. There's more festivities coming, I'm sure."
Excuse me, miss, if you have a moment. I'm not familiar with Fendar here. What's the festival for?
This is a festival of just and we have it about 3 times a year. It's just an annual festival, but this one's special. It marks quite a day. 50 years ago is when Narmathus became a country. So that's why the elves are free, courtesy of Orad.
Well, in that case, he kind of raises his glass a little bit to the freedom of Narmathus.
Says, may Narmathus always be free. And she kind of tips your kind of tankard, and you see that she also has a flask that she has around her neck. You don't know of what, but it definitely carries the holy. It looks like she's using it as a holy symbol because it has like scratches put in the flask to make it look like the I can't pronounce it.
Eden Kalian?
Yeah. I'm just gonna call it the CC.
Kalian?
Yeah, I always stumble over it for some reason. The CC god. She scraped in the initials of it, and looks like that she's wearing it as a holy symbol. And then she kind of tips her glass and then moves away. After a couple of minutes, you see a older blonde-haired woman step up onto a kind of a makeshift stage and says, gather around, people!" And those who are from town recognize her as Rhina, the one of the elder acolytes in the temple here in Fender.
Is someone in the kitchen with Rana?
She is played by Hayden Patier, just an older one. Hayden Pantier.
Panettiere.
Panettiere.
We're having some serious pronunciation difficulties this session.
Yeah, I know. I should have taken all the names and did like little parentheses on how to spell these people. You're lucky I even got them cast, so leave me alone. So,
I support you.
I appreciate it, Ryan, even though we disagree on rules learning. So,
I
she
did
stands-
notice that my winning rules lawyering is not in fact on the record, so that's fine.
I haven't received my email.
I haven't
So-
received my email.
So she says, gather around. And she tells everyone to come close, and she goes, we're here today to signal the 50 years of Normathus being free. Can I get a hey, And then like she looks towards the ground. All right, thank you. And she raises her glass,
Happily roars.
and you see that she is a worshiper of Desna. So Rhina says, okay, kids, gather around. I will tell you the story before we go any further of Normathus. Normathus was once held by Mthun a long, long time ago, 1,000 years ago. Maybe not that far, but I've had a lot to drink. And then before that, Chalaxia. But while we were invaded and taken over, a hero rose amongst us, named Ingril Normathi, a half-elf. His bow skills were legendary, and he decided to gather together his troops, and that's where the Chesnado Rangers were once formed. They fought against the Mthun forces using small hit-and-run tactics against a much larger force, and we carry on that tradition today, and we named Normathus after this great hero. So let's raise a cup to Ingril, for without him, this country would not be here. Huzzah! All right, you get quite a few people cheering, even though you can't really hear it in this. And she says, so let's start some great games. The first game is in representation for it. It's a township hide and seek. So I'd like all of y'all to, on the count of 10, run and hide. And these people, and she points towards 5 with red armbands to simulate Mthun. Says, go run and hide, children. Go run and hide, adults. The whole town. And the last person standing will receive a prize. The last person hidden. Once you've found, come to the center. If somebody finds you, you then join Mthun to simulate the greater forces until there is only one person left. Says go. And you see kids and some adults go to hide, while other people just kind of look and point. Does anyone wish to hide?
Jex is very uninterested in the games at hand, and he's just at this point looking for Dr. Thamwil.
Okay.
This is Mordos's favorite part of the festival. He's gonna slink away into the shrubbery.
All right, and you, while you're heading towards the shrubbery, you see your son, Bran. He says, "Can I hide with you?"
Then of course, son. Come, I will teach you.
And so he runs and then hides in the bushes with you. So I'm gonna make you take a -2 penalty because Bran's with you. But is anyone else playing the hide and seek in the group?
Yeah, Teglin will be amused by this and play some hide and seek.
All right, the first stealth check is just a DC 10.
Graham will play with his kid, obviously. I'm sure he's like, Papa.
I
Oh, did
wanna
y'all
roll,
forget? This is the first time that I'll allow y'all to roll on y'all's desks at home.
I want to roll to try and find Graham.
Are we rolling stealth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mine's really too lower than one. Can I modify that on the fly?
Maybe. Oh.
Oh,
This next roll is just a test.
Alright, after just a few moments, Graham is found. Dr. Graham is found with his son.
barely.
And then he joins all the others to help look until there's only one person left. Let's go ahead and roll a second stealth check. And then, Jex, you can help with a perception. Or no.
I'm literally
no
only
one-
looking for the doctor.
Oh, okay.
I'm riding into town not knowing even that this festival is a thing.
Alright. Telgen, 16, just barely enough. Mordos. Alright. Another round goes by. You see people starting to be found, and you hear people like sighing and yelling, like, "Ah, found you! Ah, found you!" Now it goes up to DC 20. This time, the villagers do roll with y'all, where if they don't make it, then y'all will be the only two left. They pass the first two rounds automatically due to the sheer numbers of people playing.
Dude, what the hell? My journal won't pop up.
Oh, everyone failed the DC 20.
Yep.
Now, Russell, with your -2, unfortunately, you did not beat the villagers out. So, after a few moments, you see a young girl named Sarah, who is Dr. Graham's daughter.
Oh, hold on. You forgot. Panoply is playing as well.
Well, Panoply doesn't count. She's not a person. How dare you?
What? Alright. Well, Panoply's almost as good at stealth as I am.
Well, maybe Panoply was helping you. Should have aided another and negated that -2.
Should have.
Should have pushed her to help you. You could have hid behind her. Well, after a little bit, Sarah comes up and receives her gift. A carved statue. Courtesy of one of the other hunters of the woods. It's a beautifully made statue of supposedly Ingrel. You see that it is an elven man with a bow and dark armor with a cape just kind of flowing behind it. It's a beautiful work of art. And Sarah takes it up to Graham and says, "See, Daddy? See?"
Ah, yes, son, it's beautiful.
It was your daughter,
Quite. Oh,
Sarah.
I thought
Sarah?
she's like 17. She didn't talk like a baby.
Okay.
But anyways, he's like, ah, yes, it's quite the work of art, isn't it?
Says, "Yes. I remember your stories. Didn't you say you seen him?" And you recall that the likeness of this person is the person you saw on that fateful day in the Ramgate Massacre, which is crazy because stories were told that 50 years ago when the nation was born was the day he died. And no one has seen him since. But he lives on in
Wow.
stories as a ghost of the woods.
I mean, I wouldn't have told her that. Plus, I've been gone for so long. How would she know that?
Okay, fine. Well, I'm saying that maybe she takes it to you and you remember that. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, I wouldn't mention it to her because he's like, he still doesn't really think it was real. He he just came back. He doesn't want to sound crazy or whatever, you know? So, like, even though he's happy to be back around his family, he's still, like, kind of reserved towards them because he doesn't, you know, doesn't want to fuck it up again.
Well, Jex, you see that the 17-year-old girl, I'm gonna say still a young maiden at 17, run towards a middle-aged man, and through your asking around, you recognize.
Oh, I've met
Dr.
Graham.
Okay.
Met multiple times in the past. So I know what he
Meekly
looks
walk up to the small group and stand silently nearby.
like. Upon seeing Dr. Graham, I ride up and dismount Void. Upon the horse's back is a large standard that would have been hidden behind Jex's imposing figure, but it's adorned with some antlers across the top and a green background with a golden paw on it. And as he gets down, he retrieves a small bag, which he partially opens and reveals some orange tea leaf-looking petals, and kind of gives Dr. Graham a small bow and says, "I've returned with the herbs you've asked for."
Ah, yes. Thank you. Let me see those.
And he just looks kind of oblivious to all the other stuff going on in town. And he hands it over. It's Desna's star. It's an actual thing in the game. It's orange petal-like tea leaves that make a mild aromatic tea that lets you sleep easier, basically. Maybe it's for Graham's leg.
Yeah, and he, with his cane and his little traveling kettle on the end of his cane, he kind of puts the leaves in there, and then he casts Create Water on top of them, and then he casts Spark, and heats it up, and then kind of produces 2 little cups, and then offers one to Jex.
Jex respectfully kind of does a little short bow again, but even bowing, he's still much taller than Dr. Graham. And he just takes the cup kind of in the palm of his hand and sips from it.
Russell, go ahead and give me a
Thank you, Doctor.
Go ahead and give me a perception check, Russell.
Rolled a 2.
Oh, that's rough. All right, Russell, you suddenly feel a hand on your shoulder.
I calmly turn and look silently.
You see it is Auburn. And she looks at you, and you can see that her eyes are a little watery. She's well known in town as being a drinker.
That's okay. I don't mind.
She says,
Do I ever know her to get out of sorts when she's drinking? Like, act.
no, she normally just tells bold stories of her youth.
Oh, then yeah, I don't care. I nod without saying a word.
She says, skulking back again, Mordas, are we?
Aye, master.
Says
My
I.
son enjoyed his time sneaking in the woods with me.
Says that you should be out front and talking to people more. You shouldn't just be skulking back in the shadows all the time. To live is to be noticed.
Because I'm just fine with my life. I prefer to notice others instead of them noticing me.
Says I saw you partake in the game. You should have hid in a different place than Bran.
I say, no, then how would my son learn?
It's like, true, my friend, true. And with that, she kind of walks away, and you see that the rest of the town just continues on with their celebration. You hear rumors of plenty. Does anyone wish to go to any of the well-known spots in town? The shrine, Ored's fine shop, the blacksmith, or Taproot Inn.
Graham would like to see if the old doctor is around anywhere.
Oh, you go to see Vane. Orend, he runs the fine shop. While y'all are grouped amongst yourselves, a person walks up. You see that it's Rhina, the priestess, the head priestess of town, and she holds out a cup with several silver pieces, several copper pieces, and she says, "Anyone wish to give any extra money towards the repair of the bridge?" And y'all look at each other, and y'all know that the bridge has been in much need of repair in Fadar. That Kynan, the dwarf blacksmith, has been trying to repair it for some time now, but since the funds ran low on the repair, it cost double what they originally thought it would, and so the work stopped on it until they can get together the rest of the funds. And Rhina's going around to see if anyone wishes to spare a little bit of gold, and says, "That's the only way to cross the Mayed River. You know the waters are very dangerous."
I poke Bran on the shoulder and pull a gold coin out from behind his ear. Hold on. Result 14 on sleight of hand.
Ah, he saw you. His quick eyes caught you.
And I say, "Here, lad, go help contribute to the town for me."
Alright, Bran goes and he puts the gold in the cup. And then Rhina nods at you and thanks and asks the rest of the party that are standing there, "Does anyone else wish to give any gold, silver, copper?"
Getting up from his position, Teglin kind of meanders over, kind of puts on his pack, and pulls out a handful of 5 gold, and puts it into the cup.
He goes,
Oh my god, that's a lot.
"Ah, the Rhina thanks you for it and says, 'Ah, thank you, traveler. Well met.'"
Yes. It's important work getting that bridge back and running.
Says, "Yes."
Dr. Thamwell is like, though I don't have any coin to spare, I would love to lend my expertise. I do have a bit of engineering knowledge.
Rhina says, "You'll have to speak to Kynan with that. She is, the dwarf ways."
Ah, yes.
And all of y'all who are from town is well known that Kynan is very abrasive. And most people just chalk it up to that's just the way dwarves are.
I figure I've treated her in the past. So, maybe we get along.
No, Kynan gets along with nobody in town.
Rude.
Well, she nods towards Togan and Mordos and Graham and Jex. "Do you give any money?" Nope.
The bridge you use every day, or every time you come in and out on your horse, that might cause your horse to fall into the river if it breaks.
What?
Yeah, it's the only road over to the Fengwin from the town. From what I understand.
Dex believes in fair trade.
Here, just a second. Let me move the map over.
This motherfucker says
Thinks that you
Jax
should-
believes in fair trade.
He thinks that you should earn what you get in life, and not ask for handouts.
There you go. The bridge.
It's a civil project.
The
Yeah,
bridge
right.
and the town.
It's like a city
Bro.
bridge.
So
I
how
live
many
in the
tolls do you pay?
forest. I was raised by orcs.
We still use that bridge.
Don't tell him how to run his character.
Yeah, no, I act oblivious to it.
You just gotta look at the other way when she holds up alms. Much like beggars in town, you have no time for that. And
I'm not a dick about it. I just kind of ignore it.
I know. So, give the gold.
So he's not kind of a dick, he's a complete dick about it.
And does anyone wish to go to any of those more well-known places in town? You have Ored's shop, the Kainen's blacksmithy, the shrine, and then Taproot Inn.
I want to go check on my wife first before going to the shop and see how our fur selling and her wool selling has gone. Did we make any money?
Okay, then when you go to the stall, you see the Ogred's busy painting swirling dinosaurs on some young child's face.
I smile and watch silently as Bran runs up and enjoys watching her work.
And after a little bit of time, she's done, and the child gives her a copper, and she runs off happy. And Ogred looks at you and goes, "Ah, it's a good festival today." And she gets up and she gives you a hug and she says, "Have you gone to talk amongst the people?"
Yes, Brad and I were able to participate in the festivities.
She says, I hear Auburn will be staying up late probably tonight telling some stories. She'll probably want you there later on tonight. At the Taproot. She says...
I say, I will be there.
She says, take some
Napoli
coppers.
likes the sound of the clanking mugs. Reminds him of the armor scraping back home.
And says, take some coppers, dearest. And she gives you a hug and says, when the night goes down and after you're done with Taproot, you can come to me at our house. I'll be waiting. And with that, she leaves. And once again, I don't know if you wonder, but I'm gonna say she has a pretty high charisma. And she's well loved in town.
I figured it could go either way. Either it's the Beauty and the Beast thing, or the two ugly people that fell in love.
I'm gonna say that she's very nice looking. She sees into your heart and just sees the soul of a good man, and that's why she stayed with you. And she's well loved in town. She's a fair maiden, and she leaves. Graham.
Yes.
You once again, I guess, find yourself alone, and you see your wife.
Wait.
Oh.
He's going towards the other doctor?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
What
I'm
he
sorry.
said last?
That's what he said left.
And Jex was with him, and Jex is also going to go to the other healers because that's what he does. He goes to the Deep Fang Wood, finds herbs that they've told him about, returns them to them. That's how he makes a living, and trades for the other things he needs in the forest.
And Telgrin might recognize Graham. We haven't really talked whether or not he would. But maybe he looks semi-familiar.
Does Telgrin live in town? Or is he just a visitor that came in recently?
Ryan?
He I don't know. He kind of has been traveling around. I think that maybe he has passed through this town before, but he's definitely not a regular. He just kind of...
Has he ever had to get any doctoring in the last 25 years around here?
Oof. I think that that Graham may recognize him from. I'll leave it up to you, but just kind of like a hint of recognition, like you think you've seen him before. but maybe where you would have seen him was Ramgate. So I don't know if Ram wants to remember that, and so kind of, I don't know. He has seen Teglin before, probably in passing. They were both at Ramgate.
Well, if he does recognize him, he doesn't show it at all.
Sure.
He goes, oh, I mean, I'm with Jex, though. Where are you?
Well, he gave gold while Rhina was talking to y'all, so he was just kind of standing nearby.
Yep.
Try to be charismatic, Johnny. Like, so, hey, come with us. What's your name? Never seen you before.
My charisma is more physical. No.
Teglin kind of looks at Graham with like a.
Like, where do I know this guy from?
Yeah, he's definitely got that expression of like, oh crap, I know you, but like, I don't remember from where. But he's like doing that, like sorting through his head, but being awkward about it.
I want to sense motive on this guy. Feel him out. I don't know what that is, dude. I don't know what that's about. So this is at a +7.
25.
Yep, 25. So I'm just like, excuse me, son. Or well, how old are you?
22.
Oh, so you're just a kid. Okay.
Yeah.
So Graham walks up to him and he's like, excuse me, son, but you look remarkably familiar. Have we met before?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm not sure.
Huh. Well, what are you up to at the festival this year? In this 4 months?
Well, I was passing through this town and happened to hit the festival. So that's why I'm here. Teglin kind of has a pack, and it's like obvious, like it's a very unimpressive club that it kind of has at his side. A very basic weapon. Kind of looks like, I don't know. I'm trying to like visualize Teglin wholly because it looks kind of awkward.
Like a hermit.
I think he looks kind of awkward.
Like a hermit of the woods, kind of.
Yeah, kind of a little bit like a hermit of the woods, but like, I think the club is an indication of like, not a like very practiced, experienced fighter. Like, a club kind of gives off that like, just barely above improvised weapon. So.
Speak for yourself. I wield my club with skill.
Oh, I do too. Well, a measure of skill.
Well, I guess y'all all head towards Ulrid's fine shop. When you get to Ulrid's fine shop, you see that it's a fairly large building, one of the larger ones in town. You see it's run by somebody named Vane Ulrid, who is cast by Ron Swanson.
Okay.
He has
Nick
a mustache.
All of a sudden, I care about this guy way more.
And you see him behind a desk and has a couple of beakers in front of him. He is well known in town for being somebody who experiments with some of the stuff that people bring in from all corners of Nirmathas, and he collects fine goods and is basically a general store here.
And,
Whenever you
I
walk through the
imagine-
door, he barely acknowledges y'all's existence.
And I imagine I haven't seen him in a few years since this is my kind of first day coming back to town. So I'm going to be like, how you doing, you old scamp?
He looks towards you and says, "Ah, Graham, nice to see you. Who are your other friends?"
Well, certainly you know Jax.
Yeah, Jex ducks through the door and
I assume tethers his
Tells,
horse or something outside.
he just tells Void to stay,
Okay.
and he heads on in. And he has met this guy before, because that's what he does. He comes into town to trade.
And he says, "And if you see Rena, tell her I've already given extra gold towards the bridge, and I'm not interested in doing it again. That damn Kynan, she's taken all of my money."
Certainly. But this is, I'm sorry, friend, what did you say your name was again? Teglin?
Yes, sir. It's Teglin.
This fine fellow's Teglin. We seem to know each other from somewhere, but we can't quite remember where.
He goes, "Ah, that snake juice, huh?"
No, sir. I just I've been traveling around to many different places and met a lot of people. Not sure where I remember him from. Was all.
Well, I got robes over there, clubs over there, backpacks over there. Have a good day. And he kind of goes back to what he's doing.
He seems to be a warm fella.
Yes. Always wrapped up in his studies. Just thought I'd come say hello.
And he
But I
kind of
guess
looks
I,
up and he goes, "Nice seeing you again, Graham. Jax."
Nice to meet you, sir.
Jex
Yes.
nods and grunts.
And then, I guess we leave. I don't need anything.
I thought you were headed to the doctor guy.
This
which
is the
why I was
doctor
following
guy.
you.
This is the doctor.
Oh, then I drop off some herbs that he'd already paid for as well.
Goes, "Ah, that's what I was looking for, Jax. Thank you." And he grabs it. Says, "I
am
appreciate
always
it."
fair.
Says, of course.
And Jex nods and heads out, and he actually just starts to saddle up and get ready to head back out of town.
And
Mr.
I'm
Jex.
looking, I say, "Jex, hold, my friend. Please
Excuse
join
me.
us in the tavern. I have a few coppers to spare for some drinks."
Says the
It is
youngins are
late.
going back to the house, probably.
It is late. I was hoping to find shelter.
Well, Vane says, "Telgan, you can find a good place at Taproot Inn for the eve if you need it."
Oh, that is something I was looking for.
And you kind of walk out of the fine shop and across the green towards the Taproot Inn. And when you're going across the green, you kind of look over the small hill and you realize that the Fandor is just on this flat plain. You can see days away a ride. The only, literally, this is why this place has no guards, no sheriffs, because they can literally see issues coming like a day in advance from like a impeding army if it was to come in. I mean, this place is completely out in the open. The only thing is near the forest. And in some cases, there are some guards that they post on the forest every once in a while, but it's not really guards. It's more like hunters that volunteer. You just got a nice feeling of just celebration and happiness as you make your way across the green. You see banners and people still dancing. You hear a bard, a halfling bard, singing a jolly tune across the green.
It's actually metal,
It's actually
and he has a
metal.
one man band, like the drum and the guitar and the harmonica and all that stuff.
Well, he's doing his best to help everyone. And you walk by a couple more stalls and you see that people are still giving out ale. And it's going to be a nice night tonight. Cool breeze, crisp air. You realize that this festival takes place in basically the fall season, where there's a couple towards the shadows. There might be a couple of dusting of snow, like every once in a while. So it's crisp, clear air with a cool breeze that I'm gonna say in like the 60s right now. So it's kind of just very cool, very fallish. You make your way to the Taproot Inn, and once you open the door, you immediately smell pipeweed in the air, laughter, people having a good time. One of the barmaids come up and gives Jex a hug, if he'll allow it. I don't know what type of person he is.
He allows it, but kind of just like stares down and doesn't really hug back.
After the barmaid gives you a hug, the barmaid is played by Olivia Munn. Her name is Jet. She is the proprietor / owner of this establishment. After giving your character the hug, she walks over to Graham and says that is basically your wife isn't here, and like tries to give you a hug if your wife's not here, because she's a very friendly woman.
I mean, my wife doesn't really trip about stuff like that because she's not psycho. So he goes ahead and gives her a hug. He's actually seen this woman's vagina before when he birthed her baby. So it's not really like that.
She doesn't have a baby. She's single.
Well,
she's 20.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
she goes towards Mordos and high fives him.
Well, if she's 20,
high five back.
if she's 20, then I saw her come out of her mother's vagina. Is that better?
Yeah, that sounds much better. And then she says, "Who's your friend?" And looks towards Togan.
It's a pleasure, ma'am. My name is Telgan.
He's new to town. Do you mind if I clean your face up a little? You're awfully dirty, Teglin. It's Teglin.
Teglin.
Jet says,
Teglin.
let me get you some water, Graham. And she goes behind the counter, gets some water along with a scarf, and you see that Jet, she is dressed like a Varisian woman, but she is half Tian. So she has a very exotic look about her. Almost a lithe dancer. She when she walks, it's graceful. It's almost gliding on her toes.
And Graham goes, "Oh, no need." And he just casts prestidigitation on you and kind of cleans you up. Because you said you look like a filthy, homeless hermit, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I guess he won't just do it. He'll be like, if I may, can I clean you up a bit? I don't have to touch you. The dirt will just fall off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to do that. I I tend to forget to do that when I come into town. He actually does it on himself.
Nice. Oh, look at you.
Roleplay.
You're quite a handsome fellow, aren't you?
Role playing that low wisdom and low charisma, right, Ryan?
Yup. It's not a negative charisma.
It's low.
That wisdom. Yeah.
Uh,
Oof. That wisdom. Oof.
says, oh yeah, I don't
What's
think
your
about things
wisdom?
like that.
I'm an 8.
Oh, wow.
So he
Maybe
really
it's
doesn't
maybe.
think about things like that.
Something had to take the hit, and it was wisdom.
Yep, mine was Dex. So I mean, it is. That's why I walk on one leg, because I had to
I like
RP a 7. Had to RP a 7 Dex somehow.
So Jet comes up and says, "So Telgan, come," and she shows y'all to a table. And at the bar, you see
It's Teglin.
Teglin, sorry. At the bar, you see Aubryn having a drink, probably her 50th of the day. She started early. And she's telling this story in the background about a bear and about taking a sword to it and just all of her times, and about the time she killed an Anklig as she was a caravan driver. Russell's character's probably heard it all before.
I smile at each story, and Panoply likes to curl up at her feet while he listens.
Okay, now Palapali is a medium-sized creature, so she's pretty large to have inside this tap room. Are you gonna have her around there?
Yeah, I mean, it's medium size is, I guess, decently big.
Yeah, but technically Jex's horse is medium-sized too.
No, Jex's horse is large.
Oh. Okay,
It has to
well,
be for the right.
as long
Yeah,
as you're...
my horse is large size. I can squeeze it through medium-sized things as an action, but that's...
Alright, and you tell your horse to stay, I guess, outside the taproot, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna let it stay
Okay,
outside.
yeah. And so y'all sit down, and a few moments later, Jet brings around, and then I guess Mordos is paying for a couple of copper.
Yes. I'll drop 5 copper for the first round.
Alright. And you try Taproot's Best, which is a nice berry ale. Kind of tastes
sip
like
on
a...
it. I mentioned to her, I'll go, you know, this would taste much better if made with some good berries.
And Jet, she says, if you can supply enough good berries...
Aye. I could.
Are you just gonna create like 3 or 4 good berries? That's not really a big supply.
No, but I could give her at a time like 12 D4 good berries.
But why would you?
Sell them.
Sell them.
Like 60 gold worth of good berries.
Maybe. So, Russell's trying to, I guess, wheel and deal, I guess would be the best. Yeah. And you see people talking about rumors and things going down. Talking about when's the next time Mathoon's gonna come across the border. Do y'all have any conversations amongst yourselves?
Jex looks kind of awkward just because he doesn't really set foot in the tavern. He sleeps like in the forest and stuff, so he's not accustomed to how people act in places like this. So he's just kind of standing awkwardly. Looking
Jex,
giant.
Why don't you come down and sit here next to me? We can be outsiders together.
And country bumpkins, apparently, with the
Some of them wood people.
I have been called that before.
Hey, me too. Hey, see, we got something in
And
common
he,
here, Jex.
he says that kind of under his breath a little bit, but audible, and sits down.
Where are you from, Jex?
Live in the Fatewood.
Oh, in the Fangwood.
Is
Is
there
that
any way you
dangerous?
is there any way you can talk up, Chris?
Yes. Yes.
That didn't help any.
Didn't help at all.
No, like you and Russell are barely coming in whenever y'all are trying to.
Turn me up on the Discord.
I already
Click
have
my-
everyone turned up on the Discord.
Hold on then. Maybe I can do it in my settings.
You have to do it for each individual person.
Johnny, do you know you're muted?
Is this any better? Test.
I can hear you. It's about the same.
Do I sound quiet?
I turned you up.
You are quiet when you use your
Voice.
your Jex voice.
It's hard to do the Jex voice loud. That's not my normal register.
I know. I was just letting you know.
Hold on. Maybe I can do this. Hold on. I think I got something for this, maybe.
It'd be awesome if you had a synthesizer like Ryan used to do.
Does this sound better?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit better.
Yeah.
This is my actual microphone.
Does it sound stupid?
No, it
No,
sounds great, man.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So y'all want to continue the roleplay, or did I just effectively stop it? I think I
We can
effectively stopped it.
continue.
You're from the Fangwood Forest there, Jex?
Yes.
Born and raised?
In a manner of speaking.
That's a bit ambiguous. What manner of speaking were you born and raised?
I was born in the north, to the Orcish tribes. But that family is gone.
That's all he says.
Okay. And, what brings you here to, Fandar? Fandar?
Honest trade.
Well, that's right. You brought
Yeah,
them
he says it
peoples
in a
the,
way that almost sounds like he's coached to say it that way.
Sure. So you bring them herbs, right?
Yes. Meat. Pelts if needed. But only if needed.
Yes, he lets me bring the pelts mostly. But Jex and I like to hunt together on occasion.
Oh, you're a hunter?
Yes.
Wow.
And what do you do? Where are you from?
Teglin pauses as if he didn't realize that was a question that somebody was going to ask him. And it's obvious that he kind of doesn't necessarily want to answer that question. I'm from, the east side of Lake Carthen. Yeah, east.
To the north. That's to the north?
Lake Carthen is on that previous
Northeast.
map of the southern Fangwood Forest. Lake Carthen is to the east.
Okay.
That's the big lake surrounded by like 5 or 6 different countries, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so it's like straight, yeah.
So
Pretty
if you
much
want
straight
to
east.
ping it, you feel free. Up here somewhere. Alright, so after y'all have y'all's talk, you catch the tail end of one of Auburn's stories. Says, "There I am, thinking, when will I ever be able to talk to a bear again? So before the grizzly can stand back up, I turn it to it and say, 'Look, All I need is the honey. You can keep the bees. As the room erupts in laughter, Auburn finishes her whining story and takes another drop from her tankard.
Dex just looks at her confused. He doesn't get the joke.
And then, since everyone's
Graham takes
laughing, y'all
a
kind of look at her. He says, "But it's fine now. It's all good." She goes, "Right, Mordos?" She says, "She named a cub after me. Someday I'm going to have to check in on the little... Oh God, that's too many bees." The crowd members share amongst the boasts and joke. But eventually somebody tops off Auburn's tankard and pushes her back into the center of the room. And she looks towards Mordos and goes, "Hey Mordos, do you remember this one?" She goes, okay. And she kind of stumbles a little bit, but she's still not... Mordos have seen her drink quite a bit more than this. But he definitely realizes she's a little tipsy, and typically when she's tipsy, she really tells some humdingers. She goes...
I smirk and raise my glass.
And she goes, all right, don't shove. Okay. So, Caden, strike me down if this isn't true. And then suddenly the front door explodes into flinders. Cries of agony pierces the chaos as Auburn is quickly slammed against the back wall by a giant ballista bolt. It pins her to the wall. Her arm is almost completely yanked out of her socket in her right arm over towards the shoulder, and is literally, she's only being held up by a couple of single strands of skin and muscle. The bolt almost cut off her entire right arm. As you hear...
Jex immediately jumps up and runs towards the door.
Well, no.
And Graham jumps up and runs straight towards her.
When the explosion happens, several darkened shapes stand in front of the door. They appear to be hobgoblins, dressed in
What's a hobgoblin?
Hobgoblins, dressed in red clothing with black roots. You see that there's a total of 5. And behind the hobgoblins, you see a group of hobgoblins loading up a ballista. And you see people screaming and yelling in the darkness. And a couple of fires start taking place. And we're going to stop here for episode 1. I'm going to stop recording and then restart because I'm trying to do an hour and a half in each one.